Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of PixlFeed Radio, and I'm here with my friend Neel Parekh. Neel, how you doing, man? You doing good?
Excited to be here, man. I'm trying to stay a little bit cool. I'm over in California, got our heat wave over here, but what's new, right?
Yeah, I know, man. It's always hot here, so I feel your pain. But at least the water's warm here when it comes to the beach. It's not freezing cold.
I know.
Anyway, so Neel here had an idea 5 years ago, and you know what's funny? When I saw this, I was like, I thought about that. I want to say somewhere around the same time, maybe a little bit longer back, maybe like 8 years ago. But here's the difference. He took action on it, and I kind of like looked into it, but then I put it to the side because I was already busy with the e-com stuff. But it's one of those things that popped in my head to see if there's something that can be done remotely when you don't have to touch anything. And I'm assuming this is what it is because he helped. He came up with a way to turn manage local businesses remotely, and one of them is it's called MaidThis, and it turned into a franchise which helped homeowners and short-term rental hosts like Airbnb, all those companies with their cleanings and all that stuff, which is awesome. It's amazing. When I thought about something like this, it was for cleaning, people to clean, get their houses clean. Because I read it, I saw something about it somewhere, but I never executed on it. So it was probably from you. Who knows, man? I don't even know. I probably saw something you posted somewhere.
Maybe we saw the same post. I saw it originally on a Reddit post like 8 years ago.
Yes, Reddit. That's where I saw it. Yes, see, but you took action. You took action. I didn't. I was focused on e-com, which that's what I still do to this day. So things happen for reasons. So I'm excited to have you in here because I want to hear like the whole journey of how you got started, which obviously you saw on Reddit and went from there. But before we get into it, let me ask about, how did you grow up? Were you always like entrepreneur? Were you always, had businesses on that side of school? How did that go when you were a kid? How did it all start?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I wasn't one of those guys who was like selling lemonade at 7 years old. I feel like that's such a great inspirational story. That was not me though.
Yeah.
But what I did have is I grew up around my parents' video rental stores. So Christian, do you remember like the Blockbusters, all those?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So my parents had a couple of them. It's called Video Town. So those are local businesses. Like talk about local businesses, right? Like VHS, Laserdisc, they had it all from the 80s. So I grew up around small business in that aspect. It wasn't, franchising wasn't like large tech companies, but purely small businesses. So I think that incepted in my head the idea of having a business of some sort. So I always knew I had to get into business in some capacity. I just had no idea how. So that's the early days. My parents, immigrants to the country, they came from India, right? And like a lot of people in their generation, you have no choice to do anything besides business because it's hard to get a job. So that's why they started what they did. And I saw the hustle, saw how much time they put into it. And it kind of just inspired me from a young age. I was just always around it. So yeah, that started the idea of like, I'm going to start my own business for sure. I just had no idea what that would be.
Yeah, I have it's always like one way or the other with especially with like Indian people. I have tons of Indian friends, and they either went the entrepreneur route or they went like the doctor route. So it's like it's like you're gonna be a doctor and that's it, man, or you're gonna have a business. Figure out one of the two.
It's so funny you say that. It's so true because it's like doctor, lawyer, engineer. It's like those three or business owner. It's always one of those. And it's honestly, it's because like parents and Christian, I don't know your background. Did your parents immigrate here?
Yeah, back in '93.
Okay, yeah. Where'd they come from?
Minnesota, but I'm originally Italian, so
got it. Yeah,
but we lived in Minnesota, and that's when we came here.
Yeah,
in '93 Florida.
Yeah, well, like a lot of immigrants to this country, they come here and like all they want is security, right? So they push their kids in a couple directions, saying, "Hey, just get the most secure job you can." We feel like the most secure job is like doctor, lawyer, engineer. Those are secure. Just go and they'll push them to that.
Sure.
And the other ones are saying, hey, we don't have the opportunity to do this. We're going to be a little bit more risk taking and start business. So I feel like that's the reason why you'll see a lot of Indian families go one of those two directions. It's just that generation taught us.
Not only that, but immigrants too. Like, I think it's, I've seen so many places in the world growing up, and I've seen what it's like to like not have the advantages that we have here. Like people still complain that we don't have those advantages here. Or like, I'm like, you guys have no idea, man. Some of you need to like leave the country. And I don't mean go to Cancun for spring break. I mean like go see the real world,
Yeah.
And I say the real world because that's, 3/4 of the world, or maybe more. It's that reality of we don't have the opportunities that we have here. So to come here, not knowing the language, because I didn't speak English when I got here. And, you know, and not even trying with all the opportunities that we have. I just don't get it. I really don't. I think it's, you know, people, my opinion has changed throughout the years. Like I remember growing up, I will feel bad for like most people, like they were poor and stuff like that. And then as I got older and started doing business and all that stuff, I started to learn that a lot of people are broke because they want to be broke. They have this mentality that everybody owns something and that, you know, it's not their fault. You know, they blame everything on everyone else. And then I met some great people who came, you know, from absolutely, I can't even describe the backgrounds. Like you would have never in a million years thought that they would have made it. And they become so successful. And it's like, dude, you have no reason to be at this level. Like, you know, just sitting here complaining, you know, nobody owes you anything.
The psychological terms, victim mentality, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Around that victim mentality. But you're totally right, Christian. I mean, look, even, and we're diving quite a bit into this, but it's so interesting. I'll say in India, I grew up here, like born and raised in Los Angeles, growing up here. Like I'm American, but my parents who grew up in India, like think about it over there. At their time, no one has credit history. You can't get loans. You can't get student loans. So the only way to advance is if your parents put up a ton of money to get you an education. Right. Even if you get that, it's so crazy competitive because there's a billion people there that like the opportunities are so scarce. Right. So it's like it's an issue of not talent, but opportunity. And then you come to a country like the US where the opportunity is a little bit, there's more opportunity. It just like, there's no excuse not to, right? Because it's so much harder for people in other countries who just don't have a platform because of the way the system's set up to advance. Versus you see in America, it's like, it's not like I'm more talented or you're more talented. It's just that we just had this opportunity. That's really the only difference here.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a lot harder back then, but now with the internet, like, I mean, you can go here on my YouTube channel. You have so many. Yeah. You can learn how to advertise and market your whole business for free that people charge you thousands of dollars for a course. I don't have to do that. I actually make money with what I do. You know, I don't have to create a course. I just do it on YouTube because it's free. Yeah, I'll make money out of it, but it's free to you guys. So yeah. Anyway. Absolutely. So you decided to go the entrepreneur route. So did you go to college? Did you drop out? Did you graduate? How did that go?
No, I went to college. I went to UC San Diego. I did psychology as my major and economics. And then shortly after that, I went to work in venture capital. So I worked in venture capital for about 4 years after. We were doing tech investing. So writing checks of like $10 to $20 million per company. So my job would be to find it, vet the companies, due diligence, things like that. So
how did you like that? I just started working with a VC firm for a project that I have with other partners of mine, and it's been very interesting to see the point of view from the VC side and not, you know, our scrappy bootstrap. You know, we all started in. It's like, oh yeah, here's a check. Go do your thing.
Yeah, like, it was like. I mean, look, a lot of people, especially when they start early in their career in finance, they're working like grunt hours. They're doing like crazy stuff. Their bosses suck. I actually had a great experience. I think the people I worked with were fantastic. I kind of lucked out, I think. They let me work on a lot of deals. I just absorbed so much knowledge. So I actually had a really, really good time there. I think in the end, finance in general was not for me. I just wanted to try something a little bit more on my own. But the VC world by itself, man, it's a different beast. Those guys play a different game. Right. That's not like bootstrap. That's like, all right, here's $2 million, make it go to 20. It's different. So that, you know, that's a little bit different from my mentality, but I loved learning it. Right. Especially entrepreneurs we invest in. They were like, go big or go home type guys. That was pretty cool to see.
That is cool. So, and where did we go after that?
So when I was there, I was trying out a bunch of ways to find a side hustle. A couple of things I wanted to help support my parents financially. They had video rental stores in the mid 2010s, not doing that well. Yeah. The second part is I wanted to travel. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try to find some sort of side hustle. So I was trying to do e-commerce, drop shipping, like whatever, because I wanted to quit and travel and backpack for like a while. Yeah. There we go. So and it's funny how it transitioned. Actually, that was like the rage back in the day. Now I feel like things have moved to e-commerce, niche sites, FBA, like, and who knows what's going to happen next. But it's
dropshipping is still around, man. Is it? I have one store still to this day that I started years ago that's still drop shipping to this day. But it's quality products, so I don't have to worry about it, and they're quick. So
there we go.
It's, you know. But then I have my real brand that's all manufactured by us and all that. But
I got a question for you, on your thoughts on the industry, and I guess we'll get into this right after I finish over here. But I'm curious where we go after FBA, which is the rage right now. what you're seeing in this world.
I don't know much about FBA, to be honest with you. I never tried it myself. Of course, I know what it is. I've had people on here before talk about it. If you know what you're doing, obviously you can make a lot of money, but like anything else, you really got to know what you're doing. Like, for what I know is you got to keep your eye on things. There's software out there that will tell you like, the pricing of everybody's, selling what they're selling. And then you got to undercut at the perfect moment to get the sale. It's not as easy as everybody make it seem, just like when it comes to drop shipping. Listen, I'm on YouTube. So of course I get all the videos in my niche and I see I'll watch some of them just to see what's up. Right. And I can tell right now, so I'm watching some of them like, I can't believe they're sitting here like, just fucking lying. It's a lie.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're telling these kids, you're lying to them that they're going to just find some shitty product on AliExpress and they're going to be rich overnight. And that's not the case. I mean, could you make money on it? Yes, you can still make money on it, but you got to know what you're doing. And it's, Facebook ads are not easy anymore like they used to be. The days of like throwing $5 and making $2,000 back on a t-shirt, that's been long gone. I was part of that, gold rush. That's when I got started. Those days have, it's tough. You can still do drop shipping, but it's very tough now. But it can still be done if you do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Yeah, so that's actually where I started because I got incepted with the idea of like, drop shipping, e-commerce. Like that's the only way I could go work remotely and travel while working, right? That's what I thought.
Right. Sure.
And so as I was trying that, I learned a ton, but it was so cutthroat. It was hard. I was trying to microblogs, things like that. It just wasn't really working.
Right.
And then I came across this Reddit post of a guy who's like, I started a cleaning company. And I thought like, I'll try that out on the side while I kind of work on my real remote business. And then MaidThis just started working, right? And we were focused a lot on residential cleaning at the time. And I'll tell you why I think it was working and why it still works. But focus on residential, started to get a lot of people inquiring about vacation rentals. This is 2013 into 2015, so kind of brand new. And so I looked into it and I was like, oh, wow, like a regular home you clean twice a month. Vacation rentals, like every 3 days, you're turning this place over. High volume. It's a niche. It's a new niche. It's growing rapidly. Short-term rentals growing rapidly. So we shifted, and a lot of our focus right now is on it's half vacation rental, half regular residential. And we've been growing for that since. So I have a location in LA and San Francisco, and we just opened up 2 franchise locations. And it's a completely remote business model, right? So I was able to luckily do this while traveling. And I mean, there's so much to dive into there, but I think the biggest key though is you can have a local business and have it be remote, and it actually ends up working in your favor because you're only competing against a local market, but using global e-commerce tactics, whatever you can on a local market, you're going to crush the competition. So I think it just ended up being kind of a hidden gem. That's
why when I saw that Reddit post, that's so funny that we both saw the thing. It's like, I was already deep into Facebook ads at that point. We dropped, I had 2 real brands by that point. How long ago was this?
This was, I started in 2013. That post was probably, around 2013, 2014.
Yeah, so I probably read it then. So I was already in the game for about 3 to 4 years. So I already had like a few brands under my belt. And then I saw it because I always keep an eye out for things, you never know. So, I wrote it down and I never went back to it because I was like, I could like crush it with Facebook ads. But then I'm like, I got to figure out how I'm going to manage a local team and all that. And I have a whiteboard where I write all my ideas, and it just sat there forever and never took action on it because all my other stuff blew up. But that's okay. So I'm curious to see how you market it, how you started it, how you built it.
Sure. So I mean, starting from the beginning, I didn't know anything about digital marketing. Like I just threw up. I was trying everything and anything. And the key for any online digital marketing is like you have to test a lot of things, allocate a budget, see what works, put money into it. I know that now. Back then, I was just scraping, doing whatever I can. So I think our first booking came from AdWords. Through AdWords, probably unprofitable. I didn't know what I was doing, but we got a sale and I was like ecstatic. I like ran outside the corporate office. I was jumping around because I was doing this on the side as a side hustle.
That's the best, man. That first sale. I'll never forget the first feeling. Ching ching on my phone. I was like, fuck yeah. I was so pumped. I'll never forget that.
That first dollar you make by yourself is like, you never forget that.
Yeah.
But man, I was like doing stuff where, I didn't know what I was doing. I'd get a cleaner. The cleaner was like, hey, I want to get paid cash. I'd be like, okay, I'll go to the ATM, pull out money, hand it to them. Like everyone thought I was a drug dealer at work because they see me like handing out money to people in cars. Like it was just completely scrappy. Right.
Yeah.
But as we progressed and as I learned more about digital marketing, what I realized is local competitors don't know what they're doing with marketing. So check out this stat is as of like 2017, 45% of local businesses did not even have a website.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So local services, they're like 2 to 3 years behind marketing trends. So you don't even need to be the cream of the crop like you might need to do in, let's say, e-commerce or digital marketing. You just need to do what is current and what Google wants you to do, and you're going to beat most of the competition. It's like get good reviews, put money into SEO. You could run some basic funnels for like AdWords or like Facebook marketing. That's mostly what you need. Just optimize that, provide a good service, get recurring clients, and then you kind of go. So I think anyone who has digital marketing experience has such a huge leg up as it relates to the local market. And it's kind of untapped gen because I think people just think you can't do it remotely. But hey, the way technology's progressed, we just talked about it, you can do it remotely now.
So let me ask you something. Because I'm curious how you manage the people who actually do the work. Because I have a friend who had an idea about 2 years ago, and they were doing the same thing that you're doing, but instead of like cleaning, it was painting, like, residential and commercial painting. Yep. And they got screwed. I mean, the people that they hired screwed up this house, and, they lost all this money. So that was like, because when they brought it up to me, these are really good friends of mine that have been in the digital world for a long time. With lead gen for mortgages, for mortgage brokers and stuff like that. And they wanted to, do it for themselves with this idea. And they asked me about it before. I'm like, I mean, yeah, you can kill it with the marketing, but how are you going to manage the team in Austin when you're in Florida? He's like, oh, we got it. I'm like, all right, well, I hope, wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let me know how it goes. And it didn't work out. These people screwed up this house. So I'm curious to see, Hope. So how did you, what's the process like? So, okay, you start up in a local city, right?
Yep.
And then you
Let's say where you are,
marketing out there, funnels, Google, whatever. Now you have a client. So how do you find the people to do it if you're remote, if you're not there?
Yeah, good question. So before COVID, we were doing a group interview in person. So what we have is a 5-step cleaner screening process. The funnel works like you do online ads, Indeed, wherever, and we have a specific topic we use for it. You get them on a phone call, vet them. You move them to a second interview, vet them. You move them to an onboarding phase, vet them. You could either do a test cleaning or a real cleaning after that. In the meantime, you're doing background checks, things like that. The funnel is built in a way where if they're unreliable, they will drop out, right? Like, for example, from the first to second interview, they need to show up at a certain time. If they don't, they're out, right? So there's a lot of things during the vetting process that we're just testing out for. And now we have it down to a funnel. The two, there's a marketing funnel, but a more important funnel is your recruiting funnel for your labor. That's by far more important, but it's the same concept. It's still a funnel. You're still doing marketing. You still have to write a good ad copy. You still have to move them through the process. You have to close the sale. If you think about it as a funnel, that's the best way to think about it. So the key's vetting the right people, getting them through a good funnel, and the people who spit out at the end, they're not all going to be great, but they're going to be much better than just picking up the phone and saying, oh, cool. Hey, you're hired. Like go paint a house. And I have all this liability. Yeah. So the key is honestly, you just have to have an awesome funnel on the hiring part.
Okay. So, all right. So the hiring, you doing the hiring all remote when it comes to other cities?
Yeah. And
now you can, now it's like everybody's used to it, but I'm assuming before that, was it hard?
It's funny, such a silver lining of COVID. Many awful things, but one silver lining is that a lot of this demographic who typically were not very tech savvy, talking about cleaners, blue collar labor, not tech savvy.
Right.
You do in-person interviews, things like that. Now everyone knows Zoom. Everyone knows Zoom, right? They're doing Zoom, like my 70-year-old parents are doing Zoom, and they're doing like karaoke parties with their friends, right? It's just like everyone's on it.
That's awesome.
So now you could have online interviews, and it's equally legit as an in-person interview, and that's totally fine. So now everything has moved that way.
So now, so now you got the people you hired. You hire the people. How do you pay them? What kind of stuff? What are you using so you can do the payroll and all that stuff?
Yeah, so we use Gusto.com. Which is just a normal payroll software company. So we just do weekly. So at the end of the week, the jobs that they've done the prior week, we pay per job. Mm-hmm. So pay per job and send them, they invoice, we send them the payment through Gusto. So everything is done virtually, even the dispatching. Dispatching, they go straight from their home to the job site. There is no central office they need to report to. That's why you can do it remotely.
What about materials and all that stuff? Do they have to buy the materials themselves and you reimburse them? How does that work?
Exactly. So they provide the materials themselves. Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to like put two and two together.
Yeah.
So what about the scheduling? So obviously you're running marketing, so you're going to get all these calls, or I'm assuming the funnel, is it like a phone call, consulting call, or is it like straight up credit card?
Straight up credit card. We don't do in-person estimates. Is another key, right? A lot of old school franchise companies saying we need to go there and do in-person estimates. You talk to any millennial crowd, who wants to like coordinate for someone to come and do an estimate for their home of how much they're in charge for cleaning? Like no one wants this. So what we do is online booking. You go online, select 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, any extras you want. It gives you like enter your parking, enter all this information, and then book immediately and schedule a slot. That slot goes to our CRM, and then we have cleaners on the other end, and we know their schedule. And we could just simply match them. So that's how it works, whether it's online booking or phone call. What I've kind of found is like if people are booking over $200, they want a phone call. If it's under $200, a lot of people feel comfortable just booking online.
Yeah.
So we end up kind of 50-50 with who books online versus who does phone calls. I think phone call sales are a higher close rate though.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's like, even though I've been in sales my whole life and I know how all of this works, it's like when I'm looking for a piece of software and it's like pricing and then book a call. I'm like, oh man,
I know.
I
don't want to do this.
Like, I don't need you to sell me because as soon as I see pricing, I know it's going to be expensive. Just tell me why. And,
Exactly.
I know why they do it.
I know. I agree. Like the websites, especially software, who don't tell me the pricing up front, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to inquire with you. It's just like, I don't need enterprise level software. If you're not showing me the price, it's probably crazy expensive. Let's just not do this.
Yeah, because they want to offer you the value, show you the value before the price.
Yeah,
exactly. So, are you doing this only with the cleaning, with the residential and the Airbnb and all that stuff, or have you actually applied this model to other type of niches? Because I'm trying to think like what else you could do this with. Like my friend tried it with painting, but I think they dropped the ball with the interviewing.
Painting is a good one to do. So any local service businesses which you can dispatch people straight from their home site to the job location. I'll tell you, one of our first franchise owner, his name is David. He owns MaidThis Denver. So obviously this is a remote local business. That's kind of what we're calling it. He has another remote local business, which is locksmith companies. So he has a lot of locksmith. He has about 5 locksmith companies, and he's able to do it remotely. So any local business where it doesn't have too much CapEx involved, you could technically do. Let's talk about painting. You talk about lawn care. You could do housekeeping. I think is great. You could do. I think I said painting already.
Plumbing. You can do plumbing.
Plumbing. Right? Pet. Mobile pet grooming. I was actually considering buying a mobile pet grooming company and just doing online bookings, things like that, because you could do car washing. I know someone's doing mobile car washing. So anything which you go to the client's home, any home services can be done in a remote model. What you need to look for, though, is either one of two things. You need to look for a high recurring, which is cleaning, or you need to look for a high ticket dollar amount, which is painting. If you're doing low ticket dollar amount and it's not recurring, it's not worth it.
But even with painting, if it's it's high ticket, but most people who are going to hire somebody to paint their house, they're going to get a few estimates before they pull the trigger. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at a longer sales cycle as well.
That's how it's going to be with any high ticket items, right? It's people are not going to book a $2,000, $5,000 painting over a booking form. So you do need to do in-person estimates. So that one you would need to have kind of boots on the ground, at least for that sales part. Here's the thing, though: if you're able to figure out that logistical part, again, local competition doesn't know what they're doing. They truly do not. So if you're a little bit better at sales and decent on marketing,
you always talk. Every time you talk to local businesses, and I did like a long time ago when people are asking for my help. I'm like, I'm going to help the little guys in my town. Give something back to the community, and that was a bad idea.
Yeah,
because they don't
get it.
They don't get it, man. They don't get it, and it's like, they don't advertise. They don't market. Very few. The franchises are the only ones who have a plan set up.
Exactly. That's because the franchisor does it for them, right? That's why they're good.
I always joke around like, if I wanted to get out of e-com, all I have to do is just freaking open a gym, dude, and I will destroy everybody in the city. You know what I mean? Well, man, that's a little too much, the gym, because gyms are a little bit different. But you name the business, any example.
It's a local business. Yeah. I think, like, for example, you or anyone who's listening who digital marketing, at least on the lead gen part, you're going to crush it. You're gonna like you just got to get the operations down, but like
you don't even need lead gen. You don't. I mean, obviously, I would do it, but let's say your budget. You don't have the budget. You only have let's say you're broke and you only have so much to advertise with, dude. All you have to do is run a video sequence on Facebook where if they watch, you can create custom audiences of each video. So if they watch video number 1, which is just explain who you are, right? And then once they watch video number 1, you move them to the second video. It's a funnel. And then the second funnel, shows them the process, right? And then the video number 3, shows the benefits. And then video number 4 is the call to action. You run all those videos for like $1 a day each. And eventually people are just going to start coming in through your funnel. And then, it doesn't have to be a funnel where you pay per lead, where you got dropping all this money. You can do a 5-mile radius or 10-mile radius in your city of whatever it is that you're offering. And I'm telling you, man, I've done it so many times. You'll crush it.
It's everything's a funnel. I want to create a shirt that's life's a funnel. Everything's a funnel. Like everything just kind of comes back to being a funnel.
You know who has the best funnel in the world that I absolutely love when I go to every single time? IKEA.
What is their funnel?
IKEA. You go to have you ever been to an
I've been to IKEA. It's been a while, but I've been in IKEA. Yeah.
Dude, you can't go anywhere in IKEA where they don't tell you exactly where you have to go. So pay attention. Next time you're at IKEA, go to IKEA. It'll guide you exactly where to go. And the way the prices are set on each display, it's a value ladder. They hook you with the lower price, and the more you go into the display, the higher ticket items are inside. And that's your, cheap to value, like the way that the furniture is set up, it's upsell and downsells, upsell and downsells. What happens at the end of IKEA? It's the cheap shit. That's your downsells at the bottom floor. You already, at that point, you already pulled the credit card out. You already got the super expensive shit. So when you get to the bottom floor where they have like the single glasses and the little lamps and the little posters, that's your downsells, baby.
Yep.
You already anchored a price that's ridiculous for that sofa that you're buying. So when you're spending, what's an extra $10 on my way out? Nothing.
Yeah.
That's your downsell.
Yeah.
See, people don't look at it that way. That's how I look at shit because I've been in this world for so long. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, you've been doing this for a long time. So are you expanding to the rest of the country already or no? Are you keeping it all in California for now?
Now we're expanding. So we have 2 corporate locations, LA and San Francisco. Our first franchise location is in Denver. Our second one is in Myrtle Beach. And so right now we're actively looking for other franchisees around the nation who want to pretty much bring our remote local model to their market. And typically the best markets are ones where there's a good mix of both residential as well as vacation rental, not just one or the other, but kind of both. And then, places like New York might be hyper competitive, right? But if you go to other places, the lower tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, like that's where you could rank up very fast and kind of cross the competition. So,
yeah. So, okay. I forgot about the franchise part. So what gave you the idea to start franchising out the whole project?
We started to get a lot of inquiry from people saying, are you in this city? Are you in this city? Are you in this city? From a lot of vacation rental property managers. And I wanted to figure out some way to expand. Now, one way, which we kind of alluded to before, is I could pick a different service entirely. Painting, like locksmith, anything, and just expand that way, right? Once you have a remote local business model, you kind of understand how the funnels work and you could kind of replicate it. However, an even easier way to do that, just kind of doubling down on what I'm currently doing. A couple options to that, I could either self-expand or I could do with the franchise model. With the franchise model, the benefit is that I think we can expand faster because we can get more markets up. Even markets I might not even think to expand to. That would be great markets, right? Just because people find it, know it's good, and you can expand rapidly. And honestly, I kind of also like the idea of like, this is a different business now. I am in the franchise business. I'm no longer in the cleaning business. So it's able to use the same model we've created, systemize it, and just help other people do the same thing. And like, I'm looking at a lot of people who want to get out of what they're doing, who want to use their skills in a different way. And that's why they kind of get attracted to what we're doing, saying, oh, cool. I've never thought about a local business and having it be remote too. I could use my marketing skills to kind of crush things. And that's a lot of who the people are who are inquiring right now. So yeah, the reason why, great way to expand. Plus I think it'd be awesome to help out people as well.
Yeah. And for those that don't know that are listening to this and watching, one of the businesses that I had before I went digital, it was a franchise. So are you doing the typical franchise model where you guys set everything up? You're using the name, obviously. And then are they buying the products through you? Well, you said the people carry their own products. Are they buying any products from you through the franchise, or they're just simply paying paying for the territory and then a royalty?
Yep, royalty. And then there's some other fees. Like we have marketing fees of vendors we use. So starting from the top, there's the initial franchise fee. And then after that, we have a royalty based off of revenue. And then that provides like ongoing coaching support. We set up all the funnels for you. We set up all the email marketing for you, all the website. There's a marketing fee, which goes to vendors for stuff like SEO.
Oh, so that's turnkey, ready to go. The funnels, the marketing, everything. So as a franchise owner, what do I have to worry about?
You have to run it, right? So like we give you everything saying like, look, here's how we're going to generate leads for you. You also need to generate your own leads, right? Which will teach you how. There's a whole playbook for it. We've done this already. So they would need to say, cool, leads coming in. I need to now find a cleaner. Luckily, Neel and the MaidThis team are helping show me how to find cleaners, vet them. Now they need to match them up and deal with any same things which pop up. It's kind of like bowling with the guardrails up, right? It's like, hey, dude, we've already spent $100,000 testing all this stuff. You don't have to do the same mistakes again. Just work with MaidThis. We get all this stuff set up for you. You just need to run it. And innovate, right? Like, we are an early emerging franchisor. So I look for a lot more entrepreneurial type of people, not just someone who want to buy a job, but someone who says, hey, I'm going to use Neel and MaidThis system, but also improve it because I know X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But yeah, man, it really is. I'm not sure if turnkey is the right word, but like there's a lot of things which are set up for you, which you don't have to reinvent right now.
That's cool. And what do you see the business in the next 5 years? With all the technologies, because technology is changing. Apple, privacy, all this stuff. Facebook, Google. I know they're changing a bunch of stuff. What do you think your business is going to be in the next 5 years? What do you see in the future for you guys?
Yeah, in terms of growth plans, expanding on the franchise model. Getting to at least 20 locations is kind of what we're eyeing. Building a really, really good culture and kind of awesome people we could help take care of. That's my goal. In terms of just like business and what I'm saying on the local marketing end. Google's still king. Google's been king for so long. It's kind of like, let's just follow along with what Google wants us to do. And as long as we play by their rules, we'll be okay. For example, they launched Google Local Services, right? You figure out how to optimize that and say, great, you're already at the top of the search results. AdWords maybe is no longer cost efficient, but LSA is. Then you figure out, okay, Map Pack is currently relevant. In 5 years, is it still going to be? I don't know. But what we're going to constantly do is keep tabs on what is the most relevant, specifically with Google. And try to optimize that. So I think over the next 5 years, there's going to be changes no matter what. But like I said, all we got to do is stay ahead of competition. And competition is 2 to 3 years behind the times.
Yeah, that is true. All right, man. And where can people find out more information about the franchise if they're interested in joining and being able to do this on their own?
Yeah, you just go to MaidThis, MaidThis franchise.com. You could go to my website, neelparekh.com. I'll respond to anyone who messages me on there. We also have a podcast we recently launched called the Remote Local Podcast. So you could take a look at that too.
Sweet. And we'll put the links in the description below. Neel, listen, man, thank you so much for coming on. I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad that someone pulled the trigger on this and did it the right way, because it was on my list at one point. I never got to it. I'm excited, man. I'm so happy for you. And I'm happy to see where you guys go with this. This is really cool. So everyone watching and listening, all the links are in the description. Reach out to Neel if you're interested, if you want to learn more about it. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If I had the time, I'll probably do it. I'll be like, all right, come on, I'll run. It's not rocket science when everything's being handed to you. So he did all the grunt work for you, because that's the hardest part. Figuring out how to make it all work. And when, he developed the system for you guys, if you're interested, all you have to do is just reach out to them, see how it all works, and then take it from there, man. I mean, listen, I had a franchise at one point when I was starting out, and I learned so much, and it made my life so much easier. And I made some good money on it, and I sold it. So it was good, so can't complain. All right, Neel, thanks again, man. I really appreciate you coming on. And till next time.
Yeah, likewise. Take care, man.